In the quiet shadows of the workshop, the journey of a masterpiece begins with raw, high-carbon steel and nickel, waiting to be transformed by fire and skill. Every great blade starts with a foundation of strength. These individual layers of metal are the building blocks of what will soon become a legendary kitchen tool. The craftsman carefully stacks these alternating metals, alternating between the hardness of high-carbon steel and the brilliant or decorative contrast of pure nickel for the ultimate finish. Precision is the silent partner of the blacksmith. Every millimeter is measured to ensure the proportions are perfect before the heat of the forge changes everything forever. The layers are bound together, locked in a temporary embrace. This binding ensures that the steel stays aligned during the violent transformation that occurs inside the furnace. Applying the flux is a critical step, preventing oxidation and allowing the different metals to fuse together perfectly into a single, unbreakable piece of solid Damascus steel. The forge comes alive as the steel enters the dragon's breath. At over 1200 degrees, the atoms of the metal begin to dance and merge together. The temperature rises until the steel glows with an inner light. This intense heat is necessary to soften the structure and prepare it for the hammer's strike. So under the crushing weight of the hydraulic press, the individual layers are forced into one. This forge welding process creates a bond stronger than the steel itself. Sparks fly in a brilliant display of energy and force. Each impact drives out impurities and compresses the grain of the steel for maximum strength and durability. Now, the rhythm of the forge begins. The blacksmith's hammer guides the glowing mass, using years of experience to dictate where the metal flows under every strike. With every blow, the bond between the layers deepens. What was once 7 separate plates is now a single solid block of potential, ready for the next stage. Reheating is a constant cycle. Maintaining the correct temperature is vital to prevent the steel from becoming brittle or losing its integrity during the heavy forging process. The steel reaches its peak temperature, nearly molten, but still holding its form. This is the moment of maximum plasticity, where the metal is most receptive to change. It takes patience and endurance to master the fire. The blacksmith stands at the center of this elemental battle, turning heat and steel into a functional artwork. The billet is drawn out, becoming a long, thin ribbon of fire. Stretching the metal is the first step toward creating the complexity of the final Damascus pattern. A precise cut is made in the center of the bar. This allows the blacksmith to fold the steel back onto itself, doubling the layers with one movement. The fold is made. What was once a few layers is now doubled, and the complexity of the steel begins to grow as the patterns start to emerge. Once again, the heat welds the new surfaces together. This cycle of heating, folding, and forging is the soul of the Damascus process, repeated with absolute precision. Immense pressure erases the boundary between the folds. The steel is being refined grain by grain, creating a structure that is incredibly dense and resilient for cutting. The layers grow exponentially. From 14 to 28, then to 56, the blacksmith continues his rhythmic dance with the fire to reach the ultimate goal. Already, the phantom of the final pattern is present. Each layer is a testament to the effort and time invested in this single piece of handcrafted metal. Control is everything. The smith uses lighter blows now, refining the surface and ensuring that the internal structure remains perfectly aligned for the final folding sequence. The milestone is reached. This final fold brings the count to 101 layers, a number that signifies a perfect balance of beauty and performance. The billet is now a heavy bar of legendary Damascus steel. It holds the strength of 100 layers, forged into a single high-performance unit for the kitchen. The metal screams as it meets the water. Removing the exterior scale reveals the clean steel beneath, ready to be shaped into its final, elegant blade profile. Cleaning the billet is essential. So before the final shaping, any remaining imperfections must be removed to ensure the steel is flawless for the next critical phase. The vision begins to take shape. The blacksmith draws the soul of the knife onto the steel, outlining a design that will balance perfectly in a hand. The excess metal is stripped away, revealing the silhouette of the blade. It is a slow, careful process to ensure the integrity of the layers remains intact. Now, the blade gains its edge. By forging the bevels, the blacksmith begins to move the metal into its final cutting geometry. preparing it for a lifetime of use. The tip of the knife requires a delicate touch. Too much force could ruin the alignment of the layers, but the master's hand knows exactly how much to give. Strength must run through the entire length. Forging the tang ensures that the handle and the blade are one continuous piece of steel for maximum stability. A straight blade is the mark of a master, but the blacksmith constantly checks his work, ensuring that every angle is perfect and the spine is flawlessly aligned. The rough forging is complete. Now, the belt sander takes over, grinding away the fire scale to reveal the smooth, clean lines of the professional chef's knife profile. Every pass on the grinder brings the blade closer to its final form. The geometry of the edge is slowly refined to ensure effortless slicing through any ingredient. Attention to detail defines luxury, ensures that the knife feels smooth, and ensures that the knife feels smooth and comfortable against the hand during long hours of work. Heat treatment is the science of the blade. The steel must reach a specific temperature to transform its internal structure for maximum hardness and edge retention. The blade is ready. At this cherry red temperature, the carbon is perfectly dissolved into the iron, poised for the most dramatic moment of the entire process. The quench. This sudden cooling locks the steel into a rigid, ultra-hard state. It is a violent, necessary transformation that gives the knife its legendary cutting power. Within seconds, the steel has changed forever. It is now incredibly hard, but also brittle, requiring one more trip to the furnace to reach perfection. The steel is harder than the file itself. Reaching a Rockwell hardness that will maintain its razor edge for months of use. Tempering relieves the internal stress of the quench. By heating the steel gently, the blacksmith trades a small amount of hardness for incredible toughness and durability. The dark skin of the forge is sanded away. Beneath the scale lies the shimmering, hardened steel, now possessing the perfect physical properties of a world-class kitchen knife. Traditional sharpening begins. Using Japanese waterstones, the blacksmith hones the edge to a mirror-like finish, preparing the surface for the final reveal of the pattern. The edge becomes a mirror. This level of polishing reduces friction during cutting, allowing the blade to glide through food with zero resistance and absolute precision. Absolute cleanliness is required before the final magic happens. Any oil or fingerprint would interfere with the acid that is about to wake up the steel. The acid etching begins. This is the moment where the 101 layers are finally revealed, as the acid reacts differently to the high carbon and nickel layers. Like a photograph developing, the pattern emerges from the steel. The 101 layers appear as flowing waves of silver and charcoal, a topographic map of the forging. Water halts the reaction, locking in the contrast. Each line is a physical layer of metal, forged together in the heat, now visible for the world to see. No two patterns are ever the same. This 101-layer masterpiece is a unique thumbprint of the blacksmith's work, a visual record of every hammer blow and fold. The beauty is breathtaking. The contrast between the dark carbon steel and the bright nickel creates a depth that seems to move as the light hits it. A blade this beautiful deserves a handle of equal quality. Stabilized burl wood is selected for its stunning natural grain and its resistance to the kitchen environment. The wood is shaped to fit the human hand perfectly. Ergonomics and aesthetics combine as the handle is polished until it glows with a deep, natural luster. The final details are added. Mosaic pins provide both structural integrity and a touch of artistic flair, signaling that this is a truly custom, handmade piece. The 101-layer Damascus chef's knife is complete. A perfect fusion of ancient tradition and modern precision, ready to take its place in the world's finest kitchens. The edge is terrifyingly sharp. It passes through paper without a sound, a testament to the quality of the steel and the skill of the master sharpener. In the kitchen, it performs with grace. The blade glides through the softest ingredients, preserving their texture and flavor with every surgical, effortless cut it makes. 101-layer Damascus steel, where the art of the forge meets the pinnacle of culinary performance. a masterpiece created from fire, hammer, and soul.